that it can support it better. So that's what causes that bone spur. The best way to avoid the bone spur from ever taking place is knowing when the vertebrae are out of their correct alignment, which is what I do. Correct the alignment of the vertebrae so that the body is carrying its weight correctly. That way it's not abnormal weight bearing, and so you won't see the bone spur. But with surgeries, unfortunately, 75% of surgeries that are done have to be redone. Because it's intervention, it's going into what was supposed to be able to correct itself. But here's the problem with allowing an issue to continue to progress. I'll get to it, I'll get to it, I'll get to it. It becomes more difficult to correct. And then the person ends up to whereby surgery is the option. Because now the body is so far gone, it's too late for it to help itself. But the key thing is to intervene before it gets to that point. You want the body to be able to heal itself, so give it the opportunity to. That's where those bone spurs come from. Yes, ma'am.
By doing what? Good evening. For the bone spurs, whether it's in the neck or the foot, what should she be taking? Or what do you recommend?
Well,
you say?
unfortunately, once the bone spur is there, there's nothing that you can take to get rid of it. Okay? What you can do is to avoid it getting worse. With the foot, more than likely, that's when the arch starts to fall. It depends on where the bone spur is. There are different areas for bone spurs. If someone, let's say, injured themselves, and once again, that stress on the area will cause the body, because calcium is also your body's buffer. So if inflammation is taking place, the body will send calcium there to calm the area down. So that's why it's important that if something arises, to get it addressed quickly so that it doesn't get worse. But with bone spurs, once it's there, usually, yeah. And then you really would want to talk with the orthopedic surgeon, because to find out if it's not hindering you. There are some bone spurs that they would say, well, just keep in mind that you have it, try not to let it get any worse. And by trying not to let it get any worse, it means try to correct that abnormal weight bearing, basically. Yes, ma'am. Right.
Oh, me? Okay. Next week when you do the BMI, I'm not going to be here. I'll be out of town. So when I get back, can you still do it?
Well, I have some people from 24 Hour Fitness that's coming out. And that's the time that we have allotted for it. The third week, we're going to be discussing the types of foods that produce pain and inflammation and so forth. Well, we will post, well, this wouldn't help you, but for you, if it can help you, we will post the notes on YouTube.
Okay. And another question I had, you had mentioned, I think it was back in the muscular area you was talking about, people that have osteoporosis, and are you saying that a lot of times it can be like a generational thing?
Well, with the osteoporosis, because I've had the experience of one patient in particular. She told me that osteoporosis runs in her family, right? So, but all of them drink like 6 cans of Coke a day, okay? All of them. So grandmother, mother, sisters, they all love Coke. So I said, why don't you try getting this Coke out of your daily intake and see if that has an effect on the osteoporosis. There are some people that are genetically predispositioned to osteoporosis. I'm not saying that that doesn't exist. I'm just saying that you want to rule out